Cosmic Girl 101 signing on for the Aquarius Rising Astrology for the month of August 2024. A big thank you to all astrology enthusiasts out there, such as yourself, that view, like, share, and subscribe to this content. I have reached over 12,000 views and I'm very proud of it. And it's all thanks to you out there that are tuning in. Okay, Aquarius Rising. First things first, you have two planets that rule your first house. They are planet Uranus and planet Saturn. You're associated with the characteristics and associations of being a Yang air fixed rising sign. The slower moving planetary transits of the month of August are Pluto retrograding in Aquarius, your first house, and on the 1st of September, ingresses into a retrograde motion in the sign of Capricorn, and this will be your 12th house. Neptune's retrograding in Pisces, your second house, and goes direct on December 7. Uranus, your planetary ruler, is in the sign of Taurus, your fourth house, and retrogrades on the 1st of September. Saturn, your other ruling planet, is retrograding in the sign of Pisces, your second house, and goes direct on November 15. And planet Jupiter is in the sign of Gemini in a direct motion, your fifth house, and retrogrades in the month of October. The first 3 weeks of August, the sun is going to be in the sign of Leo, and for you, this is your seventh house of joy and pleasure, the house of relationships, intimate or professional, partnerships, contracts, agreements, and associations. And also, the seventh house is the house of marriage. And its seventh house also opposes the first house, being you. So there's a lot of energy and a lot of illumination and a lot of excitement connected to other people and how they impact you, be it professional or intimate. On the 7th of August, the sun is sextiling Jupiter in Gemini, your fifth house. So the 7th and 5th house in a sextile aspect with the sun and Jupiter looks as if there is some pretty intimate relationships that are having their moment in the spotlight, or potentially financial aspects connected to relationships and contracts that are auspicious for you. Looks as if there's going to be some fun to be had, Aquarius Rising, on the 7th of August. Enjoy that day. On the 18th of August, we see the sun conjuncting retrograde Mercury in Leo. You could be possibly entertaining conversations or relationships from the past, and you may be going over agreements or contracts that are beneficial to you as well. So possibly going back to old agreements with people that you've had in the past, or possibly relationships from the past could come back across your table. Nevertheless, even if it is something that you need to deal with from the past regarding having a conversation or looking over documents or contracts, it's a great day to get things sorted. On the 19th of August, we see the sun squaring your planet Uranus, currently in Taurus, your fourth house. This day could feel jarring or feeling like you need to break free from a financial contract regarding home, family, real estate, and property, or possibly a relationship agreement or a contract has a curveball energy to it. Nothing you can't handle, but it just feels like a day where things are stifling you and frustrating you. On the 22nd of August, we see the sun ingressing into the sign of Virgo until the 22nd of September. And this is your 8th house, Aquarius Rising. And the 8th house is all to do with the money, honey. So the sun transiting here in the very analytical and detail-oriented sign of Virgo can have you feverishly trying to nut out your financial space. A great transit for you to get on top of your resources, your long-term assets. And because the 8th house is an aversion to your first house, you may feel tired, overwhelmed. You don't want to deal with some financial aspect of your experience. You may feel like it's overwhelming you or there's too much to deal with. But the sun here in Virgo can have you energized enough to just get something sorted or get on top of your finance and asset space. The lunations for the month of August. On the 4th of August, we have a new moon in Leo, and this is your 7th house, Aquarius Rising. Are you ready to bravely and boldly step into a new relationship or commitment? This is the day where you might commit. And in the sign of Leo, no less, opposing your first house, being an Aquarius rising, this is about joyfully stepping into something that benefits you in the long term. On the 19th of August, there's a full moon in the sign of Aquarius, your first house. So we are talking about something being illuminated in regards to your physical body, your character, how you're seen and known in the world. This is very boss vibes and being very autonomous. You may feel that you are mentally processing some very profound aspects of your life and how it is interacted with significant others. So an interesting day. Just let your freak flag fly, express how you really feel. Try not to be over analytical and freedom oriented. We all need connection in some aspect of our lives. So being aware of how other people impact us on this day, and you may be sitting and processing your reality. Pleasure-seeking Venus has been transiting in Leo, your 7th house, and on the 2nd of August is squaring your ruling planet, Uranus, in Taurus, your 4th house. Venus is the domicile ruler of the sign of Taurus. So this is interesting quite simply because I think Venus is trying to help you establish more freedom in your 4th house, connected to real estate and property, home matters, family concerns, with your sense of joy and pleasure and commitments and contracts. She is basically saying to you, as an Aquarius rising, speaking to your ruling planet here, saying, is the juice worth the squeeze? Is there things that we need to get sorted or talked and discussed about so we can create more harmony? So that 7th house and 4th house is significant for you, that activation on the 2nd of August, Aquarius rising. The 4th of August, she leaves the sign of Leo and ingresses into Virgo, her full position, your 8th house. Venus is flying through your 8th house in the first few weeks of August, so this is pretty quick because on the 29th, she ingresses into her domicile sign of Libra. So what can we expect when Venus is flying through her full sign of Virgo, your 8th house? Well, Aquarius rising, get on top of your financial world. And because the 8th house is an aversion to your first house, you may be tired, you may be drained, it may be affecting you, you may have sleepless nights, all connected to your assets and finances, your debts, your taxes, and things to do with inheritances, for example. It's a difficult transit quite simply because Venus in full position in Virgo is very analytic. She knows the value, and you may have been dropping the ball with overspending, not paying too much attention to your financial house, and this is the moment to get on top of it when Venus is transiting here in Virgo, which will be very useful for you because Virgo wants the details, data, and analytics, and will get on top of things. But because it's aversion to your first house, you may be drained. The 22nd of August, we see Venus squaring Mars in Gemini. So the 8th and 5th house in the square, and it's Venus and Mars. We talk about complete opposites, trying to establish harmony out of conflict. Quite simply, the house of joy and pleasure is affecting your finances and resources and possibly a significant relationship. The 27th of August, we see Venus trining your ruling planet Uranus in Taurus, your 4th house. This is good for ironing out differences and nuances in family members or real estate and property concerns connected to your assets and finances. You may also come across a pretty lucrative deal in regards to a real estate opportunity. On the 28th of August, we see Venus opposing retrograde Neptune in Pisces, your 2nd house of finance. So the 8th and 2nd house is all about our money houses. So when you have Venus looking across the way at retrograde Neptune in your second house, Venus may be very aware of tying up loose ends regarding debt, assets, possessions, before you can move forward and feel confident about contracts or people connected with your finances and your assets. So look before you leap and look at what needs to be tidied up in that second house, because it will affect you, because the second house supports your first house. So don't overlook or skip details when you have this opposition on the 28th of August. On the 29th, Venus ingresses into Libra, her domicile sign, your ninth house, and on the same day trines retrograde Pluto in your first house. You are ready to get things going. You're ready to learn new things, connect with new people, new places, new faces. You're ready to communicate and express yourself through media and publishing, possibly learn about different cultures, spiritual aspects of your life. You may be ready to go back to school or commit to an institution where you can learn something and create a niche skill. And legalities, if you're involved with any at all, this is a great transit to get on top of things or have financial returns. But you can expect some really nice relationships or places and faces that you feel are in flow and harmony with you. And this is also potentially where you may be looking at international travel or having more connections with people on the planet, in regards to learning things from different people and places as well. When Venus is transiting in that ninth, it's a great transit because it trines your first house. So enjoy it. Personal planet Mercury. Mercury likes to talk. Mercury likes to move. Mercury is cerebral. It's all about ideas and concepts and how we connect through others with our ideas and concepts and conversations. Well, Mercury has been transiting in Virgo, your eighth house, Aquarius rising, and on the 5th of August, retrogrades here. Mercury slowing down and retrograding in your eighth house gives you the potential to go back over details, data, and analytics that you may have overlooked or need your attention connected to your asset and finance house. Great opportunity to get things done and feel like you have more control and understanding about your financial standing. On the 7th of August, Mercury conjuncts Venus on this day in Virgo, her fall position. Well, to just look, you may possibly be dealing with a loss of a contract or a significant financial relationship that you've had ends. Could also see you understanding that something financially is coming to its natural end, or you're ready to sever and disconnect from an ally, and possibly could be disrupting your financial house as well. However, it may be necessary for Mercury conjuncting Venus saying, hey, it's not working anymore, or we need to move on because it's not in your long-term range in regards to being abundant for your future connected to your assets. On the 14th of August, we see Mercury ingressing in a retrograde motion in Leo, your seventh house, which we've been talking about, that seventh house lit up for you for the month of August, very significant, Aquarius rising. So when we've got Mercury dipping his toes back into that seventh house, here's an opportunity to have conversations, look at contracts and agreements, go back over relationships or partnership issues, have the conversations, look at the details with paperwork over contracts and agreements and negotiations. It's a good time to go back over and set things straight, iron out any nuances, and especially significant conversations. On the 24th of August, we see Mercury sextiling Mars in Gemini, your fifth house. So a Mercury retrograde sextiling Mars. I wonder, Aquarius rising, if you are ready to commit and take some bold action in regards to the fifth house topics of investments, a romantic partner, intimacy aspects of your experience with a partner, I wonder if things are now ready to go in a new direction. And if it's about children or your creative pursuits or even investments, this may be the day where you feel pretty certain that you're ready to go in a new path or a new direction. It looks like you're ready to go. So I'd like this for you on the 24th of August. On the 28th of August, Mercury then goes direct in Leo. So things should be sorted out by now in regards to your certainty regarding relationships, agreements, and negotiations and contracts, especially connected to your sense of investments or a significant relationship or partnership. Things will now start moving forward nicely because you have had the time, or at least you have had the opportunity with Mercury retrograde in that seventh house to dissect, go back over, even though it's painful, go back over some intel or documents or paperwork or agreements, and again, conversations or making decisions, because now things seem more organic and more in flow. So things should start escalating and taking off in a very nice direction, moving forward with that seventh house topics for you from the 28th of August. Mars, our personal planet that gets us up and going and creates a lot of energy. Well, he's going to be transiting direct in the sign of Gemini for the whole month of August, your fifth house of joy, pleasure, children, creativity, investments, gambling, sports, athletics. I said that in one breath. That fifth house, Mars in Gemini, is very direct in speed, sharp intellect, it's quick, and Mars can really have us really quite stimulated in the sign of Gemini. But it's trining your fifth house, so it's an easier transit for you. You just may feel with that Mars in the fifth house that there's an escalation or an uptick in passion and living life to the fullest in that fifth house of pleasure. On the 14th of August, Mars is conjuncting Jupiter in Gemini, and I have used the word inflammation to describe the energies of this day. Now, it could be good inflammation, but it could be difficult inflammation connected to the fifth house. This could be an over the top investment or a risk that you take. There could be possibly you hurt yourself playing a sport or a creative pursuit that you connected with has a snag in it this day, or potentially an intimate relationship or a date goes absolutely wrong or deliciously right. But it's a tricky day to navigate on the 14th of August. Cosmic Girl 101 signing off. I trust you have a fabulous month of August, Aquarius Rising. Thank you for tuning in, and I'll catch you next time.